Okay, time to get started. Welcome everyone, thanks for joining me for this Christmas special, or for those who don't celebrate Christmas, the festive holiday cocktail special. 6 p.m. here in the Bahamas. Howdy Tiger. So essentially I'm going to make some Christmas themed cocktails. I was thinking of making batch eggnogs, but maybe not on a live stream. I'm going to make all single serve cocktails, flips, punches and nogs. These three styles of cocktails. For me in Australia, it's typically a lot warmer around Christmas time, so I probably wouldn't personally drink eggnog, but most of the audience is from colder parts of the world around Christmas time, so therefore I thought it made the most sense to make these style of drinks. So if you're averse to drinking eggs in your drink, I have one cocktail out of the 4 for you, but these 3 of the 4 include eggs, so be prepared. 9:30 here in Adelaide. Shane, welcome. So the first cocktail, as I said, there is a link in the description for those who want to follow along, and you can save the file so you can, or print it out, and you can follow along with the recipes that I'll be doing. So milk punches, flips, and eggnogs. What are the difference? So they're 3 kind of like families or categories of cocktails that you can use as templates going forth. So you don't necessarily have to pay attention to the recipe that I'm doing. You can customize it and tailor it to your liking. So the first one will be a milk punch, which is spirit, milk, and sweetener. Spirit, milk, sugar. Simple. Then you have a flip, which is spirit, sweetener, whole egg. And then if you add a little bit of cream into that flip, it becomes a nog. So I mean, like they're all very closely related to one another. They're all more richer, creamy dessert style cocktails that are probably more suited to a wintry Christmas. I'd actually love to celebrate Christmas in somewhere that's snowing. Annette, sorry I can't stay long, need to go to work, but we'll catch up on the replay. No worries, Annette, thanks for dropping in. All right, so the first cocktail in the list. Ooh, let me find the correct window. I feel a little bit disorganized, to be honest, guys. This was all very, very last minute putting this together. So I'm going to make a milk punch. It is a shaken cocktail. So get out the tins. Oh, that's where my other tin went. And I picked this one because I want to do something different. It's got mezcal. Mezcal and creamy style cocktails, to me, I wouldn't combine those. I wouldn't put them together. So, starting off with La Luna mezcal. I got sent samples of these quite some time ago. I was actually going to do some work with them. They sent me like 6 bottles from Mexico, so they would have spent an absolute fortune sending it to me. And a little bit of back and forth with emails, and then they literally just ghosted me. So I've had 6 bottles of La Luna mezcal that I've been holding on to for quite some time. This is their ensemble. Apologize in advance, I don't speak Spanish, so I'll probably mispronounce some words. It's an ensemble, so therefore it's got 3 varietals of agave. It has cuprieta or cupreta, which is native to Michoacan, if that's how you pronounce it. So native to that region. So La Luna, these mezcals are typically less smoky than some others. So of course, if you don't have a mezcal, you can use tequila instead. With these ingredients, I'd probably stick to an agave spirit because we're using Ancho Reyes, which is a chili liqueur. I mean, you could try it with a rum or a whiskey, but I think the chili liqueur pairs with agave spirits. Then we have creme de cacao, chocolate liqueur. I've actually literally just opened this bottle. I bought it quite some time ago. I've never tried this before, so. And it smells fucking good. Oh wow, yum, that's delicious. We have half an ounce, 15 ml of creme de cacao. So chili and chocolate go quite nicely together. So chili, chocolate, mezcal. I didn't even mention the name. This is just a mezcal milk punch from the Velveteen Rabbit. Half an ounce, 15 ml. Let me know in the comments below what you guys plan on drinking for Christmas or making for other people. Let me know. And then we have an ounce of coconut milk. An alternative, you could use whole milk if you want to. It's quite thick, so have to use a tablespoon. Yeah, 1 ounce, 30 ml, so 2 tablespoons. And if you guys are fans of eggnog, I was considering doing Jeffrey Morgenthaler's tequila and sherry eggnog. That's an awesome combination. So if you haven't tried that yet, make sure you do. I think I left a link in the description as well, so you can check that video out, which I did back in 2020. So plenty of ice into the shaker. Fill another glass, old-fashioned glass, ready to go. Typically milk punches are served in old-fashioned glasses. And give it a shake for 10 to 12. Milk punch, like a creamy style cocktail without being overly rich. Like, it doesn't have an egg, doesn't have like whole cream. You usually use milk, or in this case, coconut milk. It's quite a big glass, this one, so. As I said, I'm intrigued with the combination of coconut cream and mezcal. Has anyone tried a creamy mezcal before? People are going to make a last word for Christmas. Oh, we've got 150 people on. Welcome to the new people that just joined us. We're making 4 Christmas-themed cocktails. This one being mezcal milk punch. Cheers. Get those agave, very, very subtle smoky notes on the nose. Oh, it's pretty strong considering that you've only got an ounce of mezcal. I might be tempted, if I was to make this again, to put like this tiny little splash of simple syrup. Oh, that is strong, chocolatey. This Ancho Reyes doesn't come through as like a spiciness, it more comes through as just like earthy vegetal. Yeah, I don't really pick up spice. I just thought this was a super interesting cocktail to start with. Probably less Christmassy of all the 4 cocktails that I'll be doing, because you've got chili in there and mezcal. That just, yeah, something a little bit different. All right. Hey, Jessica. Merry Christmas from sunny Phoenix. Welcome. Welcome to the live. Any requests, Jessica? I've recently, excuse me guys, I'm going to jump off camera. I've recently acquired a pumpkin spice syrup and a ginger snap syrup that would probably make a fantastic Christmas cocktail. Yeah, for everyone, we're doing gingerbread Manhattans. Yum. Savage Kitchen Provisions Jess just jumped into the live. She produces this, and it's delicious. Sorry, I haven't tried this particular one, but I've tried her vanilla syrup. Yet to open the other ones, but the vanilla syrup is awesome. Right, cocktail number 2. Oh, also, by the way, I'm testing out a new feature on live streams, and I've set a super chat goal. I don't normally do live streams with the aim of getting super chats, but essentially, if I get 10 super chats, then I will make another cocktail. It's an original of mine. Yeah, essentially like an encore. All right, cocktail number 2, the little coconut from Death & Co. So we're serving in an Irish coffee glass, so I'll get some ice and chill this down. I'll turn my ice machine off to stop this background noise. So, rye whiskey. This is a rye malt whiskey from Archie Rose in New South Wales, Australia. Leblon, Cachaça. We have Appleton Estate, Jamaican rum. Amaro Averna. Going to go off screen now. And then the original recipe does call for cinnamon syrup, but I've made a chai syrup for one of the other recipes coming up shortly, so therefore I thought I'd use this rather than make 2 lots of syrup. Nice and easy. I've got the recipe in the description as well. It is simply a whole bunch of spices ground down, boiled to make like a tea, and then sweetened with sugar. It's a 1-to-1 sugar syrup. And then we have coconut milk, coconut cream, and a whole egg. I'm running out of space on screen. Where did I put the... Tell me, guys, where did I put the coconut cream? Coconut milk. Right behind me. All right. So, going to start with 1 ounce of rye. Move this out of the way. 1 ounce, 30 ml. Again, this is a super interesting combination of rye whiskey, cachaça, and rum. 3 very different spirits. If you wanted to recreate this as well, and say you didn't have cachaça, but you had a whiskey, a rum, and an Averna, then you could still go ahead and do this. It's just going to be different to the original, that's all. 1/2 ounce of cachaça, and I'm going to be constantly checking the recipes because, as I said, a little bit disorganized this morning, and I put it all together very quickly, so I haven't memorized the recipes. 1/4 ounce of Jamaican rum, 7.5 ml. That was a little bit more. We have 1/4 ounce of Amaro Averna, so like bittersweet, dried fruit characters. That was quarter ounce. Then we have our cinnamon syrup. Actually, you know what, Jess? Ginger snap syrup. I'm going to go with that instead. I think that'll be a good sub. So 3/4 of an ounce. Oh, yeah, yum. I actually might go a little bit less than 3/4 of an ounce because I believe this is a 2-to-1 syrup. The other syrup I had was only 1-to-1, so I used 30% less. Then, making a mess. Whole egg, don't be scared. Make sure your eggs are fresh. The outer part of the shell is clean. And then you will minimize the risk of salmonella. It's a very, very low percentage. I mean, I can understand that perhaps some countries, some regions don't have access to super fresh eggs and it would be risky. In that case, maybe avoid it, but here, whole eggs in drinks are perfectly fine, and they've been used in drinks for hundreds of years. Next ingredient I have is coconut milk and coconut cream. I'm just using coconut milk, combining the two, so we have 1 ounce 30 ml between the two. Right, recap. Rye whiskey, cachaça, little tiny splash of rum, a Vermouth Amaro, ginger snap syrup, whole egg, and coconut milk. Good to go. It's got a whole egg in there, so I'll give it a little bit of a dry shake. Just briefly. Ooh. That smells unique. It's the cachaça that is very prominent in this. Hopefully the dilution will kind of temper it. Give it a double strain into a, I think this is called a Libby Georgian Irish coffee glass. There's a little bit left in that shaker, but pretty close. All right. It's quite common for flips and nogs to garnish with freshly grated nutmeg. It's a nice warming spice when you bring it to your face, to your mouth, and you get that really nice aromatics. Oh, thank you guys for the super chats. It looks like we're on track for a encore. Thank you, Bamboo Robotics. Thank you, Jack Wheatman. No, shots. Those days are over. But I can see your comment got like 7 likes. And thank you, Astro Mechanic. Thank you guys for the super chats. Appreciate it. All right. There we have the little coconut. So it's a dairy-free nog. Ooh, I like that. The cachaça has definitely toned down now that I've shaken it and added some dilution. When I first smelt it, it was like the only thing I could smell. I think the help of the nutmeg tames it as well on the nose. There's a lot going on in that. Like the ginger, the spices from the nutmeg, cane spirit. This is really good. I like this. That's taken out the win so far out of the first 2 cocktails. Next up, cocktail number 3. Interestingly, this is served in a Glencairn glass, which is typically reserved for sipping on whiskey. Right, put these aside. Next ingredients we have are sweet vermouth. Original recipe did call for Carpagna Antica, which has more of a vanilla note to it. I don't have any, and I don't need 3 different vermouths sitting in my fridge, so I'm going to use the Dolan. So Dolan, Fernet Branca, maple syrup, and again a whole egg. The vermouth flip from the Book of Vermouth. Get a fresh jigger. Well, I'm going back to that little coconut. Yum. Also, because I was disorganized, I'm recreating the coconut infused sweet vermouth. Did I say coconut? Sorry, the cacao nib infused sweet vermouth. So I make a chocolate bitters, which I'm yet to release, but has its prominent cacao notes as well as some other spices. So if anything, it's going to add a little bit more depth, a little bit more intricacies into the vermouth flip. So we have 1 3/4 ounce of sweet vermouth, cacao nib infused. So if you were to make that, use Campagna Antica, 750 ml bottle, add 50 grams worth of cacao nibs, and then let it rest for 3 days, and then strain it out. Simple as that. Or you can cheat and use some of Steve the bartender's chocolate bitters. It's like 2 dashes there, which has a lot of other spices. Vermouth Branca. Ooh, that's some menthol notes, 1/4 ounce. Quarter ounce of Vermouth Branca. Now I know I'm using some ingredients that are a little less common. I apologise for that. I know sometimes people get a little bit frustrated because I have more of a selection of ingredients. I apologise, but I've got to keep things interesting. Whole egg. So this is a nice low ABV flip. As I said at the start, flips are typically spirit, or in this case, vermouth. Spirit, sweetener, whole egg. 3 ingredients, absolutely delicious. With the egg whites, the whole eggs, the egg white typically brings texture, and the egg yolk brings richness and body and flavour. So we want to give it a quick dry shake. Add some ice and shake again. That was a bit aggressive. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. Ho, ho, ho. Thank you, David. Love your videos. Cheers from a Brazilian living in Massachusetts. I don't know how to pronounce that. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. GP, relaxed style. That's my style. Savage Kitchen, Jess, Fernet and chocolate are so perfect together. What is Fernet? It's an Italian alpine bitter liqueur. So it has a lot of, it's a herbal liqueur, but it's bitter and it has a lot of like menthol notes to it. That's probably the best way I can explain it. Yeah, Fernet, you only need to add very small doses typically into a drink. I feel like this is definitely going to make more than a Glencairn glass. Jack, if you're still on, I'm very keen to come to Scotland. I need to work this out. Is this going to fit? Actually, it has a surprisingly big volume. Capacity, I should say. Did not expect that. Sweet vermouth, Fernet, chocolate, sweetened with maple syrup. Ooh. Grated nutmeg. Just a little bit, not too much. Not to overwhelm the drink. From the videos to the app, content is stellar. Thank you, Aaron. As far as the app goes, I've been saying for literally like 2 years, there's a massive update coming. And also on top of that, it will be coming out on iOS very shortly after the main update. And there's a lot of new recipes that will be bulk uploaded. So I'm very excited for that. It's just taking a lot longer than what I anticipated. All right, the vermouth flip. You can definitely tell that it is lower ABV. I mean, if it had a little touch of whiskey and a little bit more kick, I wouldn't mind that. Not saying it's bad. It's like really flavorful. Fernet, I might even kick up the Fernet a little bit. The maple syrup is just right. Balances out. It's a little bit sweet, but not too sweet. Ooh. That has a stronger flavour, but that's just got that little bit, tiny bit more sweetness to it, which I think it makes better. Just going up from here. 200 people on the live. Welcome to new people. Carla, I'm guessing the app isn't out for iOS yet. I do have a stand-in app. It has a curated list of 200 cocktails. Whether the app will be released, a completely new app, and it will have way more recipes, way more features. So it kind of is available on iOS, but not the full version, unfortunately. Devon, maybe it needs rye. Yeah, I think a spicy rye would be awesome in that. Tea and biscuits. Oh no, forgot to get my biscuit. Unfortunately, I don't keep any biscuits in the studio, so I apologise, my garnish will be lacking. All right, double check we've got the right ingredients. Chai syrup. So for those people that missed the start, I have a chai syrup here. So there is a recipe linked in the description. There's like 5 or 6 spices ground up, boiled in water, so it's like a tea. Then I strain it out, add some sugar. I measure it by weight, so it's 1 part sugar to 1 part tea. And it's just a really delicious, spicy, not like hot spicy, but just lots of different warming spices, Christmas spices in the syrup. It's delicious. It's really good. Okay, so we have cognac, chai, lemon juice, orgeat, then we have cardamom bitters. So I do have cardamom in the syrup, but let's bolster it up with a bit of cardamom bitters. All right, 1.5 ounces of cognac. So this is the tea and biscuits flip. Served in a Nicanora, so I'll ice that up. One and a half ounces. Cognac or brandy of your choice. This is, whilst I do like this, this is the only choice that I have. After that, I'm completely out of cognac and brandy. Then we have our syrup, chai syrup. So let me think, allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, cardamom, clove. I'm missing one more. Close enough. 1/2 ounce, 15 ml of chai syrup. 1/2 ounce, 15 ml of lemon juice, which this is, like when I read this, I was like, this seems like a mistake in the recipe because a flip typically doesn't have citrus. But then you've got the orgeat, so that kind of pairs well together. Lemon juice kind of threw me. Made me think it was a mistake. 1/4 ounce, so 7.5 ml of orgeat, which is an almond syrup. 3 drops of cardamom bitters. Oh, that's strong. 1, 2, 3. If you do have a cardamom bitters, I'd be very cautious because it would overwhelm the drink very, very easily and quickly. And a whole egg. Bloop. Drink number 4. Thank you to anyone who has just joined. We're making a tea and biscuits flip. All Christmas cocktails, nice and decadent drinks. Decadent. Dry shake and then wet shake. So I was thinking about doing a nog-off, essentially doing batched eggnogs and then comparing them. But I feel like some of them you need to age and rest. And then you're doing big batches. I don't need 20 litres of eggnog sitting around. So into a chilled Nick and Nora. Yeah, I was concerned about the volume. I've still got some left in that tin. Pretend I'm garnishing on a biscuit. That should be the garnish. So tea and biscuits flip. Cognac, chai syrup, lemon juice, orgeat, cardamom bitters, whole egg. The lemon juice is what threw me. Seems out of place. Want to see the original cocktail? You! Thank you, Jack. I think someone else jumped in there. Hi from Canada. Jess. No, there wasn't anise. Not in this particular mix that I did for the chai syrup. Can I add black tea to a chai syrup? Sure. There you have tea and biscuits. Yeah, I don't think that lemon juice belongs. I think it's potentially because it's called a tea and biscuits flip, so therefore I'm expecting, and you visualize this creamy cocktail. You don't expect that it's going to have that acidity to it. It's interesting. It's like Army and Navy-esque without the bitters. So Army and Navy, off the top of my head, gin, citrus, orgeat, Angostura bitters, I believe. It's kind of like that, but richer because you've got the whole egg. I would like to try this again without the lemon juice. All right, that's of those four, the Vermouth flip, so cacao nib, infused sweet vermouth, Fernet Branca, maple, and whole egg. That's delicious. All right, guys, that's all I had planned. Just the 4 cocktails. That was really quick. 35 minutes. I wasn't expecting that. Normally my live streams go for like 2 hours. So I feel like I should do the original cocktail. Can regular humans reach that countertop? No. No, they can't. So this countertop is built for me. I'm 6'8" or 203 centimeters, and literally if my wife stands here, she's probably like this. She can put her arms it's like shoulder height. I did want to get a friend on the channel to make cocktails, and they look ridiculous. So it couldn't be done. Hello from Austin, Texas. I like my lemon in my tea, so it could fit in a cocktail that riffs on tea. Benton, I'm really poor, so I'm seeking your bar wisdom, Steve. What are the best bottles for each base spirit? Best gin for most cocktails, best rum, best age, best scotch. Benton, I've actually got a video on that, 10 essential bottles. If you have a look at that, and I run through all the most prevalent spirits that are available in probably most places around the world that are affordable but are still good quality to use in cocktails. Yeah, I've done a video on that. Check that out. Help folks are counting on me to make a notable seasonal cocktail for our Christmas Eve. I'm idealist at the moment. Small batching would be nice with no shaking. It's very broad. Feel free to hit me up. Like, I'm always happy to help people. If you send me a message on Instagram or something like that, I'm always happy to steer people in the right direction. But yeah, like our Christmas, like I don't typically make creamy nogs and everything like that for Christmas because here it's usually warm. A lot of the time it could be 40 degrees Celsius, which is like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So you don't really want to be drinking creamy cocktails. So we drink summery cocktails typically. Steve can pop around to mine and change some light bulbs. All right. Hello from Iraq. Hello for us. Still 170 people on, so therefore I will make the original cocktail if I can remember what it was. Essentially, I wanted to use, don't need that. The whole point of this drink was to use the chai syrup. And I love Averna. I love the bittersweet flavors and that dried fruit, sultana-esque kind of flavors that you get from Averna. So I thought, start off with Black Manhattan vibes. Old Grandad is a high rye bourbon, so a little bit more spice driven. So I started with a Black Manhattan kind of template, and then I wanted to introduce the chai syrup, but that's sweet. So if I add that in, it's going to be a little bit too sweet if I have like, a full ounce of Averna. So typically a Black Manhattan, I believe off the top of my head, is 2 ounces and 1 ounce with a bit of bitters. So if I kept that at 1 ounce, added in some sweetener, it'd be way too sweet. So therefore, lowered the Averna. I did try it with the sweet vermouth, but it was still too sweet. And then dry vermouth, so lower on the sweetness. Does introduce kind of like some citrusy and grape notes to it. So I've only used a very small portion, but I wanted to keep it dry, so a dry vermouth, or even if you have an extra dry vermouth, then that will work fantastic. And then only a tiny small portion of the chai. Did I just disconnect? Whew. Thought I disconnected. Cool. Stirred cocktail, like a Black Manhattan. What would I call it? I was originally playing around with Mr. Black in place of Averna, and I was thinking like dirty chai Manhattan. This could be like a black chai Manhattan without sort of thinking into it. Like, could come up with something more creative, but just off the top of my head, that's where my mind goes. Right, bourbon, you can use rye if you like. I'm still on. This one here is a high rye bourbon. So I'm going to do 2 ounces, 60 ml. Add that in. I've got to remember what my ratios were. Half an ounce, 15 ml of Averna. If you don't have any Amari on your shelf and you're thinking about getting one, I think Amaro Averna is probably a good gateway Amaro. That, and depends how you're going to have it. For cocktails, Black Manhattans, fantastic. If you like your Manhattans, then that's a no-brainer. Otherwise, Amaro Montenegro, bit of citrus, bit of florality to it. That's also another good entry-level one, but I'd probably reach for this more so in cocktails myself. Then we have dry vermouth. As I said, if you want, you can use an extra dry. So 1/3 of an ounce, 10 ml. I did try it with half an ounce, and it was just a little bit too much of that grape note would come across. Then we have a bar spoon or a teaspoon, 5 ml of chai syrup. And you could also sub this for a ginger snap syrup. See what I did there, Jess? So stirred cocktail, plenty of ice, above the level of the liquid. And should prep a glass. What type of glass would I like to use? I've got a lot of different glasses to choose from, but I always tend to grab the same ones. I like to keep it simple. Ice to chill my glass. And then I'm going to get a longer spoon. I typically like my stirred drinks fairly strong. I usually stir for between 20 and 30 seconds, more likely 20 to 25 seconds, probably even on the lower end of that scale. But some people might like to stir a little bit longer, 30 seconds maybe, adds a little bit more dilution, gets that a little bit colder, and obviously makes it a little bit less booze forward. All right, so here's a original of mine, made, inspired by the chai syrup that I now have 250 milliliters of and need to use. Black Manhattan inspired as well. I like that. That's better with slightly less dry vermouth compared to when I tried it just before. You don't really get that citrus and grape note that kind of lingers afterwards. It's better balanced as far as flavors go. I also changed from Buffalo Trace, which is probably a sweeter style bourbon, to Old Grandade, so it increased the spice, which I think the spice pairs better with the chai and the Averna. I like this, if I say so myself. And you get those intricacies and that warming spice from the chai syrup.